Right, Molly, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's so nice to have you here. Everyone who's watching, we've got Molly Wright of Molly Moodle Media here today.
Hello.
Hello. I was so worried about saying that. Molly Moodle Media. I've been practicing it in the car.
You know what? I've full-blown gone to a networking event and put my name down as Molly Wright, Molly Moodle Media, and someone's called me like Mandy Wright of Molly Mandy Media. I thought she just got me confused with Mini Molly Mandy. Just kept calling me Mandy. I was like, all right, I'll go with it.
Did you just roll with it?
Absolutely.
I love that. So you've got your very successful company. Just tell people who are listening a bit about the company and how you got started in that. Because I know that you worked for a big company first, didn't you, before you started your own venture?
So Molly Moodle Media is a social media management agency. So we provide full social media management for creative, digital and independent businesses. So what that means is, because some people say, what does that actually mean?
Yeah.
So if you're a company and you market yourself and you go networking, you go to exhibitions, but you want that online presence, then I come along and I help you develop a Facebook presence, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and put the brand out there and get their core messages out there, but really integrate conversation with their target audience.
That's awesome.
And systematically just build like leads and stuff like that. But it's a funny industry, social media, because everyone uses it. I definitely use it purely for pleasure. I go on there, I want to watch funny videos, I want to tag my friends in stuff, see old pictures, but being a business online, it can be difficult. So I just help businesses come across as very human and being very approachable, but also still marketing themselves.
I think that's it's really important, because people, I think, when they look for a business now, they look for like something that they can buy into and something that gets like an emotive response. Yeah. And I know, like, for business owners, you've got so many things that running your own business, you've got like HR, and then you've got your tax, and it's just like, and then you've got premises, and you've got to build your sales, and that's even before you start actually like going out and meeting people and networking, like you say. So to like have an expert that you can hand off your social media to, because that obviously is a massive channel for building business now, that's obviously really helpful to them.
Yes. And I really enjoy it, and I really enjoy working with people who are passionate as well, and people who are excited to work on a project and to see something that turns into a plan and bring it into life. I just really enjoy that experience. And the thing is with looking after someone's social media is there's always a journey to get there. It's not always going to be right the first time, and you have to build trust, and it's a long game, and it can sometimes take a little while, but it's definitely worth it. But yeah, the way that I started the business was I always did media, so I picked it for GCSEs. I went to A-levels and did my A-levels in media, and I decided to go to university because I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So I picked film, radio and television, media and cultural studies, and there I did PR, we did media, we did all sorts of stuff, and it was genuinely such a fun, amazing time. But that period of 18 to 21, I think a lot, and for me now, I go back to Canterbury Christchurch Uni and lecture to these students.
That's so cool.
Oh, it's amazing. I love it. I'm so passionate about it, because I feel like, even though it's been like 7 years since I've started there, so how long has it been? It's about 5 years since I left. Oh my God, it's all creeping up.
Oh, don't. I was thinking the other day, it's like my friend said to me driving along, and I was like, oh, look, there's my school. And she's like, school's a long time, like, seems like a long time ago. And I was like, that's because it was a long time ago, mate. It was a really long time ago.
Honestly, it just goes so fast. Time really does. But at that time, where, by the time you've gone to GCSEs, you're sort of meant to know what you want. Then to A-levels, you sort of got to come on now, what do you want? Going to university, okay, what do you really want? Even then, it's this time where you think, I just don't know.
It's really hard, isn't it?
It is.
You're put under that pressure. And I think what would be good for people to realise now is that they can pick, that it's not that old model where you have to decide really early on. And I mean, it's great if you do and you can follow that through, but you don't have to decide and stick to one career until you die. Yeah. You can change, and life's a lot more fluid now in many senses of the word. Yeah. But if you knew that you wanted to do media, that's amazing.
Yeah, I just found it really fun. Yeah. I was actually thinking about this, like, genuinely in the car today. I think that window between like 20 to 30 is just your playtime.
Definitely.
To just do what you want, experiment everything, and not give yourself this sort of burden of, I've got to stick with this now because I've spent so many years in it. Like, no, you can do whatever you want. You could be as much of a chameleon and go out and, you know, if you wanted to become a YouTuber, if you wanted to become a radio host, or even if you wanted to become a book writer, you know, you can genuinely, in this day and age, make anything work. And people, the only limitations people have are on themselves. Exactly. I think that people, you know, have this, especially with business as well. You go into business, and for me, I never knew anything about business. When I was younger, my dad had like a few little businesses on the side, and my granddad run his own business. But overall, I didn't really know anyone close who I could ask about the ins and outs of it. And so you set these invisible rules on yourself. You can't do this, you can't do that. You've got to be. It doesn't have to be. You can totally have your own sort of approach and your own growth with it. But going back to how I actually started it.
That's fine, carry on.
So I went to university, I went to Canterbury Christchurch, and I remember it being the third year, and we were sitting in a lecture, and I'm looking around at my friends, and I'm thinking, this is it now, like, we're going to go into the real world finally. We've been using education as an excuse. People are generally looking into their masters thinking, oh, just another year.
Just to eke it out a bit more.
Yeah, exactly. And we had this one lecture, and it was called Professional Perspectives, and it was absolutely brilliant. And a lot with the courses that we had, it was all about, right, okay, here's a subject, here's what we're going to learn, and then we're going to write an essay about it, and then you're going to do an exam. This module was all about, I'm going to teach you how to get on in the real world. So our lecturer, it was amazing.
That's super.
It was unreal. So we learned how to set up a LinkedIn profile, how to make a business card. We just learned about what was going on in the industry in that time. So rather than having like formal lectures, we would have guest speakers come in. So we had a woman called Sam S. Spencer. She was a public relations officer, and she did PR for people, and she was just amazing. Then we had another man who came in, and he made adverts for milkshakes in America. And then there was a man who came in called Garrett Keogh, and he started up his own social media agency in Shoreditch in London. And he was working with 2 other people, and every year for the past 3 years he had an intern from that class go and work at Telegraph Hill. So he came in and he said, we work with TGI Fridays, Betway, E-Online UK, we do all of this amazing stuff. And it just sounded really exciting. So I took this, I was so nervous. Like, I'm a very confident person, but there'll be some situations where, like, amazingly shy. I just cripple in. And I had my little flimsy business card. It was awful. And I thought, oh God, I've got to give this to him. And I handed it over and said, hi, I'd like work experience. He was like, yeah, brilliant. Would love to get involved.
Oh.
I know.
Yeah.
He emailed me and said, would you like this work experience? I didn't respond. Was so nervous. I was like, I can't talk to him. And then about 2 weeks later, a woman called Francesca then messaged me and said, would you like work experience? And I thought, nobody gets a second chance like that. You would just never have that. So I met her in London, and she said, we're working on a programme called The Fox Problem. And it was with, there was a BBC Radio 1 presenter called Gemma Cairns. Gemma Cairns? Is it Cairns or... It's sort of like, it's not like Zoe Cairns from ZC Social. I don't know if they're the same. Gemma Cairney, I think her name is. Anyway, either way, her name was Gemma. And you had Georgia LA and Georgia O'Keefe. Anyway, and they were really amazing. There was these 3 women, and they wanted to make a show all about business. They wanted to make a show about what was going on in the news and just be a bit political at times. It was just it was called The Fox Problem. They were just having a load of fun.
Awesome.
And it was shot in Shoreditch, and it was a YouTube show. So it was live on YouTube, and you had this amazing kit, and they just said to me, do you want to be basically a runner on the set?
Yeah, cool.
So I went along, and there was like 5 other work experience, and they were just sitting around, just like biting their nails and stuff. Really? Yeah, they really were. And there are a lot of people that don't get that grit, and they just sort of think, oh, I just got to
do you think it. Like sometimes like you have, like you said, you don't get that second chance? Do you think you have to, like, people either are too scared to act on that gut feeling, or you went along there and you're like, this is my chance, I need to really act on it? Or do you think just people A, aren't that bothered, or B, they don't recognise that gut feeling sometimes?
I have a theory, right, and I just feel like sometimes, this is going to sound really bad, but if life's really good, then it's all too good. Like, for example, I was brought up, my mum and dad, I had an amazing childhood. Like my mum and dad were a really happy couple, got a great family, and I never had to worry about a thing.
No.
And when I was a teenager, if I would go to the doctors, Mum, ring up doctors.
Yeah.
Mum, ring up dentists. Mum, do this. And then all of a sudden my mum and dad got divorced. And it was actually my mum who left. Okay. So my dad didn't sort of morph into mum and start cooking and washing our clothes and stuff like that, which my mum was doing. He continued being dad and being like, oh, where's our dinner? And I'm like, oh my God, we've got to cook it. You know, and I've got to wash my own clothes. And I think that by having the reality very young of being like, you've only got yourself to worry about in life. I think by having that, it made a big difference on my approach to my career and stuff like that, because I thought, it's only you. And sometimes when you have such security, you've got nothing to fight for because you know you're always going to be all right. Does that make sense?
It's complete sense, and I hear it all the time. Like when you have like a corporate job, everyone's like, oh, it's really secure and I'm safe and everything. But I think unless you've been in a company and you've seen like redundancies made, or like for example, like you tend to feel, I don't know whether it's like your ego gets involved, but you feel like you're very indispensable sometimes to the cogs of that business, and then you let go or you go on sick and you realise actually you're not indispensable at all. Yeah. Or they could turn around just like that and be like, thank you very much, but we need to let you go. Yeah. And I think people, you get fooled into that sense of security, whereas you're right, the only security you can create is the security you create for yourself. Yeah. And even in that respect of not even just parents, like your partners as well. Yeah. You know, and I don't want to fall in that trap with sort of my fiancé and stuff. I mean, I'm very fortunate. Tom, my little Tom, he would look after me. If you know, he would say to me, listen, put your feet up, don't worry, because he's just such a lovely, caring person. But he is right now, you know, I'm hoping it will be forever, and I really do think that. But the reality is, what if something happens to him? Or what if we do break up? And all of a sudden, this lifetime of him looking after me and, you know, being treated, actually, I don't have that security anymore. And then you've got nothing. Exactly. And I feel like for anyone, men, women, whatever, you should always have your base, your money, your security, because if you're left in this world on your own, you've got to fend for yourself. Exactly. You can't rely on anyone. No. And so I think that for me, by going into opportunities like the work experience, I had that grit, and I thought, I've got to make this work because I've got to build a career for myself. Yeah. And so the show would go on, and I'd be lifting like big boxes, and I'd be at the end of the show. You had to bear in mind, they were like full-blown celebrities there. I was like, example, Mel C from the Spice Girls, Paloma Faith. Oh no, Richard Branson was on FaceTime. It was. Did you speak to him?
Oh my God, absolutely not. Are you joking? I'm just
like, it's for Mrs. Gold. Can I come work experience?
Hi Richard, can I talk to you, please? Yeah, no, I literally I was in my element. I'm a girl with the 90s. Can you imagine being this far away from Mel C?
I know, yeah.
I nearly screamed in her face. I was like, internally, I'm going, oh my God. It was so amazing. But what would happen is, after the show would wrap up, all of the work experience would go and have a beer at the bar. Whereas for me, I was ripping up the wires off the floor. I was carrying all the boxes with the team, going back to the office, and I was putting in the hours for it. And it come to it at the end of that work experience, and they'd said, Molly would like to offer you an internship. And it was amazing. And I'm looking around thinking, oh, where's all my little pals that I met on being a runner? None of them made the cut. I was the only runner that year to be given an internship, and it was amazing. So super, it was unreal. I worked with TGI Fridays. I was even on a TGI Fridays campaign for Christmas, so we're like a double Christmas jumper. Yeah, and we had to promote that if you come in with your Christmas jumper, you got like £10 off or 10% off a meal. Yeah, but they didn't have any budget for models or anything like that, so they just asked me and my friend Johnny, who also worked in the office, said, yeah, us two just standing there. It was so much fun. But actually, the reality, I worked there for a year, and the reality of working in London, so I'd have to get up and get the Clark's coach at 7 a.m. and then we'd get home for 7:30 p.m. Really long days. Yeah. And I didn't mind London, and Shoreditch is amazing. It's a really good hub. Yeah. It's unbelievable. But then I don't know if this is just all offices or not, but for me there was just this, hi, yeah, it's amazing. And I thought, there's not like they weren't genuine relationships. Like, you know, there was people who, without being dramatic, like, because I sometimes hear this and I think, oh really, but is this really the way it was? But I felt like some people were quite happy to sabotage other people to get higher up in the rankings, you know. Like, there was one person in the office who would complain about, they did this wrong, but they did that wrong, and make sure that higher management would know about it, so they could show that they were good and get a leg up. And if someone said that to me, I said, oh, you're pulling an excuse, you're not, you know. But actually, I saw it in my own two eyes. Yeah. And I started to notice during the creativity process when they'd get a new pitch come in, and I would notice that they would all these people bring so many amazing ideas to the table, but who was being listened to was the ones who went for the pub with the founders.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to them, 'cause they're all lovely, they're all a good laugh, but when you've got that rapport with someone where you feel like they're mate, you're going to naturally lean towards them.
Yeah.
But for me, I just wasn't really enjoying it as much, and I didn't feel like I was the right fit for the time because I was a team assistant.
Yeah.
And I started doing work experience at university with filmmakers and stuff like that, and so I decided that I was going to go and do work for myself, providing social media for businesses, because I had my aunt asking me, can I do her business? I said I had no family running their own business. I'm like, I do. My sister Holly had her own business, my aunt had her own business, and I had a friend who was asking me, can you do my social media for me? So I was doing it on the side for free anyway, and I thought, I might as well charge
Exactly.
them. So that's how it started.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
What does your sister and your aunt do for business? Because so you've got obviously female role models.
Yeah,
there.
they're amazing. Yeah, so my sister, well, she did beauty, so she,
cool.
so she would go. To be honest, she does loads of stuff now. She's actually got another business where her and her partner, he is a fitness coach, she's a fitness coach, and they do like PAs and stuff like that. But then she used to do like, you know, the tiger makeup when you used to go to a festival and all the glam. She used to do all of that. She also does massages. Can you imagine having a sister that does massages and lip waxing and beauty and in my element? Can you believe it? I went to see her once for the weekend. I was like, how are you? She's like, yeah, good. I'm like, yeah, back's a bit sore. She went, do you want a massage? I'm like, absolutely. And my Aunt Anne, she run a children's boutique in Barnes High Street.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that was a really good start. It was really good.
So were they your first two sort of clients? And then you formalised. So you did it for them like casually on the side, and then you formalised it, yeah?
Yeah, so I don't think I'm trying to work out if I ever charged them or not. I don't think I ever did, but what it was my portfolio to say, this is what I can do, this is how I can help, because really I have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
Not even from a business point of view, purely from marketing, because it's one thing marketing and being part of a team who know who you've got a team of experts working on TGI Fridays. And they're talking to a global audience. They're talking to people who, you know, they're one big voice. Whereas when you're working with someone who's like Arne's business called Arne's Boutique, you are now representing an individual and their brand and what they want to say. And that was really, that took me a while to sort of learn how to do that. But then I also worked for the film festival, and that's where my creative side of working with creatives and really enjoying that started to come out as well. But I used those three at the beginning, and then I just sort of, I remember the first time I told my uni friends, I was in Blue Water, and I said, I've started up my own business, and I was ready for them to be like, you're an idiot, what are you doing? Again, it's these false sort of rules and emotions that we put on ourselves. And I went, oh, amazing, it's good. Like, good for you, good luck with it.
Yeah.
And then through that, some people would then recommend me.
Amazing.
Yeah, and my dad, one of my first clients, who had him as a client for like 2.5 years, was my dad's friend.
Yeah.
He said to me, I'm in London. He had an art gallery.
Cool.
And his art gallery was based in Brentwood. And he said, come down to London at 6 a.m. and meet me and we'll have breakfast. And I thought, you've got a gallery in Brentwood. You don't work in London, but you want me at 6 a.m. in London. I thought, whatever, client. You know, I got my business cards. I put an Instagram picture up of me, like, coffee. I don't drink coffee. Coffee, business, let's do this. And I got there, and it wasn't just me and him. It was me and him and 20 other people.
Oh, my gosh.
And I was at a B&I meeting.
Oh, wow.
And I just about finalised the name of the business. It was that brand new. Like, there was a genuine spelling mistake on my business card where the printers messed it up. Like, it was just, I was so amateur, and I'd stand there and say, hi, my name's Molly Moodle Media, I do this. And so for me, I felt like I jumped straight into the deep end.
That's good, though.
But yeah, it was good. But also absolutely petrifying.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Rather you than me, I think.
It's one of those things, though. It's one of the process, and you know, those early stages of getting yourself out there are really difficult.
Yeah, definitely.
And I even feel like, actually, looking back, that first year of business is the hardest, because it's not about you putting your services out there and getting clients and earning money and stuff like that. It's the transition. Now, bear in mind, you've always got order. You've always got someone telling you what you need to do, how you're going to complete it, and you're going to work 9 to 5. All those barriers are lifted.
It's like...
Exactly. Yeah. And the thing is about it is that you think that things that you take for granted actually become a challenge. Now, you're independent now. You work for yourself. You don't need to get up at 7 a.m. anymore.
No.
You can get up at 9, 10, 11. You don't have to get dressed for work. You can work in your pyjamas and trackies.
Yeah.
And you have to learn the hard way that actually, as much as you can do that, you shouldn't do that.
Exactly. And how funny it sounds, you've still got to really have those disciplines of doing the right things. And yeah, because it's very, I think people sometimes, not talking about like highly, but everyone I'm sure has it. Like you have that little bit of like, oh, I just want to stay nice and warm in my bed. And like, but you've got to like, well, it's having the discipline and like the motivation to actually make yourself do it. And
you've got to break that anxiety as well.
Yeah.
You know what it is? The mental side of it is actually one of the most challenging things, because especially if you've never been in business before and no one else really around you is, because bear in mind, although it was my sister and my aunt lived in London, my sister lived in Cardiff, so I didn't have anyone immediately in my house who was had run a business or anything. And you'd start, things would come into conversation like, oh, Molly, you're about today, could you make dinner? Oh, could you go do this? And before you know it, my family were really supportive, but there was a lot of and Molly can just do that.
You've got all your free time. It's free time, or you're not actually restricted to that 9 to 5 being at a desk. So they think that in their head you can go and do extra jobs and that sort of thing.
Exactly. But you're doing work, but at that time you're not. It's not paid work, and and you have to remind yourself that it is work. Don't let people sway you off and think, oh no, you're just having a bit of fun. You know. So I was building my website. I was researching what other social media agencies were doing. You know, how they come across online. And I was really just trying to figure out who I was and what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. And I feel like early on in business, this is the reality is that you start off with this very strict idea. This is exactly what I want to do. I want to be a creative social media agency, only work with creatives, only do this. And then as time goes on, you expand and you grow and you become a lot more flexible. So your pride is a big thing that you've got to battle and work with in those early stages. And really just getting by with no money. It depends on how you get your money, whether someone's invested in you, whether you get a loan out, whether you've saved that money. For me, I was really lucky because I finished working in London, and so I had money saved up because Tom's like, I want to buy a house, and I'm like, yeah, let's buy a house. And then he kept saying it and then saying it and then saying it, and we never were going to get this house. I was like, hold your horses. Let's not buy a house. I've got $2.5 grand. I'm going to live off that to start up my business. And so that's what I did. So as much as you think, I've got $2 grand in the bank, you don't have $2 grand in the bank. You don't know when you're going to get your next client. You don't know whether when you're next going to go and someone's actually going to start paying you for your work. And money confidence is a big thing as well. What you're going to charge yourself. What do you think you're worth?
Because people in the beginning, especially when you're in that space where you really want to develop your portfolio and get testimonials and everything like that, and then you've got the other hand, people coming to you and being like, oh, can you do it for cheaper? Can you do it for this? Can you do it for free? And all the rest. So where do you it's important that you stand in knowing how good you are and confidence in your pricing. How did you find that?
Oh my God, I think I had a real struggle. I think it's been one of a long journey for me because I was 22 when I started up the business. So if I'm totally honest, it wasn't like I had bundles of confidence in myself already, and I didn't. To charge, I mean, I'm talking to business owners who'd been going for 20 years, who knew everything, and they were they could suss you out in a minute. And I thought, I can't. And I just had this such anxiety about charging people, and I felt bad about certain things. I thought, oh, am I good enough? Am I not? And that come out in my pricing. First ever paid client I had was a woman. I got my eyebrows done, and this woman said to me, oh, what do you do? I said, I do social media. And she said, oh, okay. And I felt a fraudster saying it. And she was like, what do you do, social media? And I'm like, just going to suss me out and go, no, you haven't. You've just started your business. I know. No one does that. Can I just say, absolutely no, like, it's going to sound really bad, but like, no one cares about anybody else.
They don't.
But themselves.
This is what I say when I'm doing battle ropes in the gym with Ross, and it's right in the middle of True Gym, and I'm like, I don't want to do it. Everyone's looking. He's like, oh yeah, because they're so interested in what you're doing. And actually, I do say it to Jade, and I know it. I'm like, no one cares.
No one cares.
No one cares. They're too busy looking at themselves in the mirror.
Exactly. And when you wake up in the morning, I don't think to myself, oh, you know, that woman that was, at a business meeting the other day, I wonder if she's really established or not. I'm not thinking that.
No.
Because I'm waking up and I've got a million other things to think about. What am I good? What's the next stage for my business? Where are me and Tom going to go on holiday this year? What am I going to get my nephew for his birthday? people,
you get so wrapped up in what people
consuming.
think, and it can take over, and it can, if you let your mind, again, it's like, it comes back to the discipline thing, your mind, if you let it, it will completely run with you.
Exactly.
And like, to try and keep that sort of focus on what you're doing, and like, even in like a nice way, go, no one really cares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true, because that is exactly what happens, because, you know, there's so many people that I've looked up to and I've seen throughout the years of being in business, they're just doing such amazing stuff. And I'll go up to them and be like, you are amazing. You do know that. And they go, oh no, I've still got to do this. And I think, oh my God, like, when is that moment going to break where you go, I'm actually pretty good? But I don't think it ever does. I think people just push and push and push. But what you need to do in the process of all of this is just be happy.
Definitely.
You've got to find your little peaks of happiness in the day, because, as you said, it can consume you, you could be really negative on yourself, and life's too short. That's just
definitely.
the basis of it. It's always going to be hard, life's always going to be difficult. None of us are getting an easy road, and so we might as well just be happy and just be positive with our future and what we're doing moving forward, because really, it's bloody hard work.
I know.
And as you said about pricing, you know, going to that woman, she said, how much do you charge? I went, £50 a month. What?
Yeah.
Are you having a joke? Like, that's awesome. No, actually, I think I said £50 per week.
Okay.
So actually, that wasn't too bad.
No.
But the amount of work
like,
I did
inside.
I remember that moment so well when I said I had a new client, and I run into the kitchen. I was like, oh my God, Dad, I've got a client. And he was like, how much are they paying you? And I'm like, £50 a week. And I'm like, that ain't enough, Mo. For marketing, that's not enough. And I think, oh, Dad, shut up though, because that's
Don't
burst this bubble because of bustle. Because I just so thought, okay, let me at least just get started and build my confidence up.
Yeah.
And so I started working with her, and she wanted the world for 50p, which is what you get for those first clients. That it is a pain. But it was a great learning curve, and then little by little I started getting a little bit more confident. £250 per month. It's £350 a month. Actually, you know, and through the years, I've sort of got to a point where just this battle of, do I know what I'm talking about? Am I really good as I say I am? Like, you know, is it really happening? And then one day, I don't know how it happened, but there were just these series of conversations and series of events going on, and everything the penny dropped. I went, you do know what you're talking about, and you are good at what you do, and you can price the way you want to price, but everything's within moderation, because, again, as I said about lecturing Canterbury Christchurch students, they've been in education for so many years, and the lecturers are saying to them, you need to price well, don't be underestimated, don't let people take advantage of you, because that is a thing, people do take advantage. At the same time, you do need to go,
you can't be like, this is it.
You need to be flexible, and you need to be, especially when you're young in business and when you are finding your feet, and you're in a position where if you make mistakes, it's not the end of the world.
Exactly.
Then you can price a little bit cheaper, so you don't, your reputation isn't tarnished if something goes wrong. And sometimes I'll go to a university and I'll say, oh, you know, they'll say, oh, do you do work experience? I'll say, yeah, they come on board. And sometimes they're like really eager and they want to learn, and then other times they just don't care, because they just feel like they've just got to do this. And then I've also said, I've got an opportunity for you to make a graphic design for an event for someone. If you just want that, I'll do it. If not, but if you want that opportunity, I'll give it to you. How much are you going to pay me? How much? And I think, but it's just work experience, just an opportunity. I don't like students being used, but at the same time, and I think there's a benefit they could get for their portfolio.
You have to, get in it, don't you? Have to get amongst it and just start somewhere, don't you? Yeah, and listening to you like talk about your journey in business, and you're trying to figure out who you are, and then you're trying to establish yourself and get clients and build your confidence. And the more I think about it, because everyone's always like, oh, like try and speak to like your guests and get tips out of them, like for what their success looks like, and like so they can, I suppose, look at those tips and see if they can apply them to their lives. But what it comes down to, like, especially, like, I'm just thinking about it now, and what you said is, it is literally just about, it's one answer for each individual, and it is really about sort of building that picture, and you've just got to ride it out and build your grit and your confidence as you go along, isn't it?
I am the devil of making a to-do list of all the things I want to achieve, and it will be this long, and I'd get through it in a day. But that one task on that one list might be 6-hour task. But then what I used to do, I've got a bit better at it actually, and I'll look at this to-do list, and if I don't complete it within the day, within this 24 hours frame, I'll literally be like, well, I'm rubbish. Obviously, it's falling apart. Obviously, I'm doing something really bad. And it's not about that at all. You know, and the old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. It wasn't. It really, you know what? And everything takes a bit of time, and you're just chipping away. You've got to chip. Because if you don't and you rush it, I've seen business owners who rush it and they haven't figured themselves out. And they'll be in the arena, aka networking, they'll be in the ball pit, and they say, what do you do? Why do you do this? How do you... And they don't really know. And it's sort of like, and you can tell when someone's got the grit and someone understands themselves. And no, it doesn't have to be, they have to care about what they do and understand how they can help people. You know, and if you do, one thing I've actually learned, if you run your business purely for money, you'll never be successful. If you, and I remember, it's one of those things that I've actually read about, like entrepreneurs saying and stuff, and I think, what does it even mean? But honestly, I've seen people and I've given consultations, like business consultations, even though I don't really do that, business consultations, people are like, Molly, how do I make more money? And I said, before we... That's the secondary. What's the primary? How do you help businesses? And then I say, oh, because I do this, and this. Right, how can you market that to as many people as possible and use your friendship group, use your community to spread that word that this thing that you're helping with, that's what's going to make you business. As soon as you think about money, then people can smell that. There's nothing worse than feeling
desperation
like... There's nothing worse than when people feel like that desperation of, please be a client. People don't want to work like that. People want to feel like they're benefited. I've got someone who gave me a cold call 2 weeks ago, and they said, hi, this is a service we provide. Would you be interested? And funnily enough, it's something I was thinking about. So, yeah, no problem, get in touch with you. Hi, Molly, just chasing you up to see how you're going. Hi, Molly, just seeing how you were. Hi, Molly, here's an email. And I thought, you know what? Your desperation stinks so bad. I'm not interested. You know, and people don't forget who they're working with. They're working with people.
Exactly.
You've got to stop looking at people as numbers and look at them as people. And then that relationship can grow so much.
Exactly.
My clients come through other clients as well. Do you know what I mean?
That's the best way to, like, organic growth through, like, word of mouth. Like I try and do that with like businesses as much as I can. I'm like, you need to meet this person, they're really good. And that is the best way, because personal recommendation is, people know now when they're being sold to. And they even, like with Instagram and Facebook, they know when it's like an ad, and they know when someone's been paid like to do something. Whereas if I go to you, you need to go and see such and such, they're super. Then you'll go, oh, okay. Maybe I will then.
It means so much more. You know, and just on a side note, as a marketer, you know, who I'm literally taking a brand and a business with their core values and their services, and they say, right, let's put this on social media. People don't want to be sold to on social media. There's nothing worse. So you've got to communicate in a way where you've got to be a part of people's communities, and you've got to feel like you're in their conversation. So whatever everyone is talking about, that is your target market, you need to be in that conversation. And the funny thing is about marketing is you almost have to not market. You have to let your website, the software within the social media platform. So if you've got a Facebook page and you've got a services page and you've got reviews, encourage people to write reviews, have your services and sponsor content. And then all the stuff in the middle, make it about you, what you're up to, what is in interest that you all share and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And that is what people get excited about. Because I don't get excited and think, oh, look, you know, someone's selling a new T-shirt, yay! Like, if Misguided put up a post, which they did the other day, saying, who else is looking at holidays, but I've only got £2.50 in their account? They've got like 2,000 likes. But then I went onto Misguided page to see what other funny stuff they had, and then flicked through and saw their content. That's why you've got to do it, you know.
Yeah, definitely. It's to get people to buy in, because like, otherwise I'm like, on Instagram, I'm like, oh, this person, beautiful place, nice bikini, rah, rah, rah. And it's just like, you just get immune to it. And you don't engage with it. But if it's an actual post that relates to you, like if someone's like, I can't think of an example, who's your favourite Disney princess or something like that?
I'm going to Cinderella.
Is she really?
No, who is my favourite Disney princess? I think it's Mulan.
Yeah? Oh, awesome.
Mulan. Yeah.
Oh.
She's a bit of minx.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one. I need to watch it.
Oh, no, she's quite like bad.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I like Mulan. But that's the thing with businesses and actually about brands and these online personalities, because they say so many young children now want to be YouTubers.
That's the thing, everyone's like in school, they're like, I want to be an influencer.
Yeah.
Right?
how do you want to be an influencer though? That is the question. Because Tom, I always talk about Tom. Tom watches. He's great. He's my little mate. My mate Tom. He watches this YouTube channel of this man, and his name is something beige, indie beige.
Okay.
His name is. Just this man in like a proper thick jumper, and he talks about battles and he talks about history, and Tom loves it, right? But the thing is that he's touching into a community of people who enjoy that, and it's giving value to people.
Exactly.
When you start basing your profile and your image on looks and illusion, I just feel like social media now are cracking down on that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and there's even rumours that, I can't remember whether it was Instagram or Facebook or one of them, but I'm going to get it so wrong, but literally, what one of these social media platforms are doing is they're going to start removing the likes on a post.
Really?
So like the likes and the followers or something like that. So you purely the content, and apparently they could be hidden. So you can like it and the other person can see it, but it's all about what you like, what you enjoy, and it's not so much a numbers game where people are fighting for the popularity race. It's about genuine content that people enjoy.
That's not such a bad thing, I don't think.
No.
But I hear that Instagram are looking at they've like redone their policy in terms of content and that sort of thing, and especially in terms of sexually suggestive content. Sorry. But when they say that, I follow some pole dancers on Instagram, and they're not. I understand obviously pole dancing has a roots, but they're genuinely strong. They're doing like really good routines, and they're putting out the content to help other pole dancers do moves. But they're having to do it in leggings because they're worried, and they're covering up because they're worried about Instagram starting to like screw with their algorithm and that sort of thing, so people won't see their post. Yeah, it's really interesting because it's like how much. Yes, I understand you've got to protect your business, like, and Instagram are like trying to censor that, but at the same time, people are putting so much value on all the likes and the comments and on a platform for people they don't even know. It's really interesting, actually.
Yeah, it's a funny one, that, isn't it? Because, you know, the way that we're growing up now, I mean, I was born in 92, and so by the year 2000, we had the dial-up internet, and within the first year of internet, when we could get Pixo and websites and stuff like that, I had a full social media presence because it was in my school to do that, and you couldn't miss out. If my mum and dad said to me, "We're not going on dial-up, you're not going on the internet," I would have been absolutely devastated. It would have been sabotage to like my reputation with my friends. And so now, if a young girl at 10, 11, 12, 13 says, "Everyone's on Instagram, Mum, can I download it as an app?" You know, they can go on it. And how much those parents policing that? So how easy is it to come along and see a pole dancer and see all their moves and stuff like that? And you think, actually, how explicit are these images for these young girls to make? But at the same time, is Instagram introducing a policy where it's policing the amount of how much women can cover their bodies anyway? Then that's sort of something that's almost a bit controversial.
Exactly, because they have their no nipples.
Yeah.
And I see so many posts. Well, that sounds like that says a lot about my feed. I don't see so many posts, but I see some posts that says like they cover the nipple with "free the nipple."
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, they actually write "free the nipple" and they cover the nipple with it, which is quite funny. But yeah, because obviously on Instagram you can't show nipples unless you're breastfeeding or you've had a mastectomy. But they were saying how the censorship is going to affect women more, perhaps, than it will affect men.
So women
in the sexually suggestive content.
Yeah, because there are flips and turns in that, because at the same time we have got a body image crisis where young girls are looking at. I mean, Tammy Hebrew, for example, absolutely banging body. You know, she trains every single day. She's got a bum like gorgeous, you know, and good for her. She works out and stuff. But for me, I'm quite comfortable. As you know, being 26, I've got to an age where I'm actually really comfortable in my own skin. I eat KFC if I want it. I'll eat oranges if I want to have a little cut down. I'm not looking at myself, hating myself. No. So many women do. So many women do. And genuinely, to my core, it upsets me. Yeah. I was out with my little sister, actually. She invited me. Oh, it's so funny. She's only just little. She's 24. We've got a 2-year age gap. There's nothing in it. But she and her friends invited me to a night out with them. They said, well, our mate's pulled out. Would you like to come? I was like, absolutely. And we was in the bathroom, and Georgie's friends are like stunning. They're all gorgeous. You know, they're just lovely girls, really pretty. And one of them, like, is just beautiful. And she literally said, "Please get me out of this room with all these mirrors." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Are you joking?" Like, real talk, are we joking right now? She went, oh, Molly, stop. Like, Molly, stop. And I'm like, is this really going on? It's another girl, right? Another party that I went to. Sounds like I go to loads of parties. Really, I don't. And it was actually a little garden party.
Nice.
And we were all sitting outside. And you know when you're out in a garden party, it's like hot and lovely. And then all of a sudden, it's absolutely freezing cold.
Yeah.
I was in a dress and I was like, I am so cold. And so I put on like a spare coat and a jacket. And then I said to one of the girls, I said, if the girl's got like a pair of trousers I can borrow. And there was this girl who said, Molly, put these on.
Yeah.
And I went to the toilet and I put them on and they just about covered my bum. and like the where the trousers line up, they folded out against my waist like that. Because I'm a size 12 bottoms. And I think this girl must be about 6 or an 8.
Yeah.
And I found it so funny. And I was like, look, and I was showing them girls, look, I can't do the zip up. Turns out that like, apparently I've heard that girls like her size, you know, and are struggling because they think that they're overweight. And that to my core devastates me because we do go on Instagram, everyone's living their best life, you know, and they want to be skinny. And I think this needs to be actually, like, this isn't reality.
No.
You know, and you do see some Instagram models coming out and saying, look, I do suck my stomach in when I go in and I turn my bum.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, like you can get like the juicy cheeks out and go, oh. And you know what, for all 4 of them, if they want to do that and they love that, but, you know, I do believe that there needs to be some sort of policing or even like
just
policies
something.
around. But at the same time, there's in terms of covering up as well, how much is too much for regulating women?
It's strange. It's funny though, isn't it? Because you think about like sometimes in reality. Obviously, it's not quite as extreme, but I love an extreme example. Yes. Instagram is no more real than the Avengers or something like that.
True.
Or like a film. But you don't go to a film and go, I want to be like Captain America.
Yeah.
Or I want to kick people in the face like the Scarlet Widow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But with Instagram, because you've got, I suppose, people are like, this is my real life, you feel... I don't know. You don't have that same level of awareness that it's not real.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the problem. It feeds down. So when you've got, you know, the classic example with Kylie Jenner having her lips pumped up. Yeah. We've got a generation of teenagers with prosthetic, you know, with pumped up lips. And these young girls are all going under and doing something medically that is dangerous and go wrong, and they're disforming their lips from such a young age. And that is the influence of social media, and it's genuinely scary because that body confidence, when you're going on a page and some girl that you went to school with had her lips done, got an eyebrow tattooing, eyelashes done, and I've got nothing against them.
No.
I think I'm the only one in my family that actually hasn't had my eyebrows tattooed. And they're like, please. I'm like, please just tattoo your eyebrows. I'm like, I can't. Like, I'll just let the beast just do their thing. But the thing is that the level of beauty is such a high standard because actually I see girls on nights out or even in the park. Me and Tom went to Venice, you know, and it's for the Instagram, for the gram, for the
no one's
like.
actually doing anything to live their lives.
Exactly.
They're just doing it to show people on Instagram what they're doing. And like you're saying about people like the young girls that look at Kylie Jenner, that when you were obviously at 16 and before you went to university, and even when you're starting your own business, you're trying to figure out who you are and you're trying to get some confidence. Whereas you're going to look to someone that you think has that confidence, and you're going to be like, oh right, okay, I need to do this and this and this. Oh, it blows my mind.
But it's another thing is as well is I remember when I was 16 and I was at the time boyfriend's house, and me and his mum and all his family were going to a party, and she had this lovely dress on, strapless dress, and then she just chucked a cardi over it, and I was like, oh, are you cold? Cardi went, oh no. I hate for anyone to see my arms. And I think, oh, for goodness sake. So as a rule, I think a lot of people, men and women, you know, I don't just dispute men copy it as well, you know. I just think people put so much pressure on themselves, and I do feel like social media plays such a big part in creating this illusion of reality that everything's perfect, everything's amazing. And you know what? And the amount of people that I see who like, you know, love it, and then you look at them afterwards, post that picture, and they just look miserable and they're so sad. And I just think, really? Everyone only cares about themselves. No one cares about what you look like. If you look attractive, bonus. If you don't look attractive, so what? You know, whatever how you see yourself and how happy you are is literally the number one. Do you know what I mean? You know, I'm rocking a bun right now. Happy in the bun. So what? This is me. Do you know? Because if you life is too short to be putting yourself down for no reason. Like, if you've generally got an illness or something bad has happened to you and it's sad, and you just think, that's stuff to be sad about. Or something bad has happened in your family, that's devastating. You thinking that you're ugly, or you thinking that you're not successful, or you putting yourself down and being your own worst enemy, that's all on you. That is, you are ruining your own life for nothing.
Exactly.
You've got a good life, enjoy it and just be happy. You know? And just have shots and just enjoy it.
Molly, that is excellent. We have to wrap it up now, but it's been so much fun talking to you. I've really enjoyed it. If people want to find out more about you and what you do and like your awesome company, where can they find you?
They can find me on mollymoodle.com.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook as Molly Moodle Media. We're on Twitter at Molly Moodle UK. And I'm on Instagram, Molly Moodle _ and Molly Moodle Wright on LinkedIn.
Oh, I love it. That's so good. There's a lot of Molly Moodles in there.
There's so many. Yeah.
That's super. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And hopefully we can sit down again sometime. That would be really good.
Absolutely.
Thank you.